Before we explore tracking settings, let's do a quick overview of the One Beyond cameras with intelligent functionality. The i20 is a presenter tracking camera that can be used in large to extra-large spaces. The i12 is a flexible solution that can be configured either as a group framing camera or a presenter tracking camera for medium to large rooms. Please review the product manuals for your selected One Beyond camera model to learn more about mounting specifications, cable routing, and power requirements. Select the Tracking button. This opens the reference stream, expanded, and brings up the Tracking Zone tab on the left side panel. The camera will not actively track while accessing these settings. The display buttons on the Tracking Zoom tab will be different depending on which One Beyond camera model you are configuring. The functionality, however, is the same. Note that the group framing mode does not require configuration unless advanced parameters are required. Select the Set Tracking Zone button. The mouse cursor will automatically move into the stream window. Left-click, hold, and draw a green rectangle over the desired tracking zone. For presenter tracking cameras, this is the area where you want the camera to track your presenter. As a good practice, draw along a horizontal plane and keep the tracking zone slim, preferably above the presenter's head, with room for taller participants. For presenter tracking cameras, establishing tracking shots is required. Select Set Tracking Shots. This opens the main stream, expanded, and brings up controls on the left side panel. Use these controls to set up two user-defined presets necessary for cameras with intelligent functionality. The Home Spot preset is the position the camera will return to when not actively tracking people. For example, this can be a wide shot preset, the position the camera will return to when not actively tracking people. For example, this can be a wide shot of the room. Another use case is to have it set to a podium or lectern. The Tracking Shot preset determines how tightly the camera frames a presenter while tracking, and determines the maximum amount of zoom and upward tilt motion of the tracking shot. This preset only applies to the presenter tracking mode. Have someone act as a subject to determine the optimal camera position and zoom in. Position the camera to ensure that the subject fits in the frame in the following situations. The subject stands with outstretched arms. The subject raises a hand to simulate writing on a blackboard or gesturing. Depending on the height of the subject, add enough headroom to allow taller presenters. The headroom defines in the tracking shot limits how far up the camera will tilt when tracking. Be sure to save settings. Blocking zones limit what the camera will detect within the tracking zone. Blocking zones 1 through 4 are suitable for displays, projectors, and windows. Presenters can walk through this type of blocking zone. Blocking zones 5 through 8 are for blocking all detection. Use this type of blocking zones for areas you do not want the camera to detect, for example, walkways or audience members. Select the Blocking Zone button. Your mouse cursor will automatically move to the stream window. Left-click, hold, and draw a red rectangle over desired areas. It is always better to draw a narrow tracking zone to exclude areas you do not want the camera to detect before using blocking zones. The i20 camera includes an additional zone type. Preset zones can be set to recall a camera preset when a person enters a defined area. Preset zones are indicated by a blue rectangle. Up to 4 preset zones can be configured. Preset zones can be configured to recall a preset in any position, not just the determined area where the zone was drawn. For example, you can configure it so that stepping into the preset zone recalls an audience-facing shot. Be sure to test the configuration and make adjustments to the tracking zone parameters if desired. An additional troubleshooting step is to check the alignment of the PTZ camera. A PTZ alignment may be needed if the PTZ camera is tracking a person off axis. Select the PTZ alignment button. This will open the side-by-side stream windows showing the main stream and the reference stream. The goal here is to line up the two crosshairs as close as possible together. Keep in mind the parallax effect will make the crosshairs appear off. Be sure to save settings. There are several additional settings to adjust the tracking behavior and parameters. Select the Tracking Settings tab. The displayed buttons will be different depending on which One Beyond camera model you are configuring. Please review the product manual for more details. Some key settings to highlight. You can manually increase or decrease tracking sensitivity to fine-tune detection. You can increase or decrease the time it takes for the camera to return to the home shot after a person leaves the tracking zone. For the i20 camera, Group Track can be enabled here or through the OSD. When enabled, the camera fits all participants into the frame and performs presenter tracking within the tracking zone. When disabled, the camera only tracks the first presenter within the tracking zone. You can set the camera to stay in the last position after a person leaves the tracking zone.